Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering unboxing. Today we're going to be looking at the first of the 5 new Magic the Gathering 2015 Commander decks. So this is the sort of 4th year they've done this. So around about November of each year they release a set of 5 Commander decks. And this year what we've got is enemy colours for our commander. Previous years, one of the first things they did was wedges, then they did shards, then last year it was all monocolour, and now we're on to enemy colour, and I'm assuming next year, based on that, we'll be moving over to allied colour. We will see. Other things that to note generally that are going to be the same in all of the decks that I'm going to unbox here. So one thing they've done, and they did this last year, you're only going to now get one oversized commander card. All of these decks have alternate commanders in them, but starting as of I think last year, what they started to do is with the oversized cards, instead of giving you all 3 as oversized cards, now you just get the what I would call the lead commander or the main commander in oversized as well. Another thing to bring your attention to, and we'll look at the commander properly when we open the pack and when we open subsequent packs, is that there's another sort of new thing. And again, last year the new thing was planeswalkers as commanders, and that was obviously enshrined on the card. This year we've got something else that's new, and this is the idea of experience counters. So we'll be having a look at this in this deck and all the other decks as well. This is a white-black deck that we've got here. Again, it's Commander, 100 cards. As I've said, we've got the foil oversized Commander. There is a deck storage box, if you could call it that, in here. They also do this thing now with the double-sided token cards, which is interesting. And there's a strategy insert, and there's that little rules reference card in here as well. So let's open this up, see what new cards. Apparently we've got 15 new magic cards. It's going to be interesting to see with this experience counter business whether there's any other new cards that do that. How obviously there's cards in Magic that already interact with counters, and it'll be interesting to see what decks have those cards in them, either to increase your amount of counters or to remove an opponent's counters. Okay. So basically this is what you get in here. This is the tray. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, if you sleeve that up, there's not much room there, and of course it's going to be a lot thicker. So I don't quite know how that works in terms of a deck box with when it's sleeved. But it doesn't say that; it just says a deck box. So that's pretty open-ended. So there's our regular rules reference card. That sort of takes the place of the player's guide or whatever used to be in here for basically playing Magic. Very simple. And I've opened loads of those. And let's actually just look at the description on the deck before we start to actually open up this deck. So there's a little bit about the backstory. So we, obviously as you saw there, the commander is Daxos the Returned. There's a little bit of backstory there about also about Karlov of the Ghost Council. And then here's the actual full deck list. Let's just try and put that there. When you're looking at these, often what they'll do is they'll star up, and I don't know how clear that is, but they'll star up all the new cards that are in this deck. So we can see here, what's that? Oreskos Explorer. Obviously Daxos the Returned is new. Bastion Protector, there's an asterisk against that. Herald of the Host. So these will all be brand new cards. And these cards, just as an aside, they're all going to be legal for play in vintage and legacy formats as well. Also, some of these have a little cross on them, and they all are the alternate commanders. So in this deck, it's going to be the Karloff of the Ghost Council, and I'm just trying to see if I can see the other one. Oh yeah, Tessa, Envoy of Ghosts, in there. So it'd be interesting also to see whether we've got any sort of new style lands in here, or any new style artifacts, stuff like that. You know, like things that make good staples. There's a little bit about here about playing the deck as well. I see they mention an array of powerful enchantments, and obviously we've got some sort of Souls of the Dead theme here, so it's going to be interesting if we're going to see some sort of graveyard interaction going on. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's have a look at our main commander. So this is Daxos Return, so this is our only full-size card here, or oversized card. So 1 white black for a 2/2 legendary creature zombie soldier. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get an experience counter. So this is this new experience counter thing. 1 colorless white black, put a white and black spirit enchantment creature token onto the battlefield. It has this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of experience counters you have. So obviously the card is both generating experience counters and interacting in that other ability with those experience counters. So we'll have to see if there's other cards in here which also either interact or increase or deplete those counters. So first up, we'll just have a quick look at this. So we've got a token, it just says gold. Token artifact, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. And there's a knight token on the other side. So here's our, okay, so this is something we can place our experience counters on. So this is how they're doing this. And on the other side, we've also got experience counter thing on there. Spirit and a zombie, another spirit and a zombie, spirit and an angel, knight and an angel. So this is giving you some idea of the tokens this deck is going to produce. Knight and a spirit, cat and a spirit, and that's a token enchantment creature spirit there. Cat and a zombie, and cat and a zombie. Okay, so first up we've got all of our, I suspect this is all our various creatures. So let's have a look at these. Just zoom in a bit more there. Okay, Orikos Explorer, so that's a creature cat scout, an uncommon. Underworld Coinsmith, Burnished Heart is in the deck. Dawnglare Invoker, Ghostblade Eidolon, Core Sanctifiers, so if you already play Magic you'll recognise some of these cards. Monk Idealist, Corpse Augur, Deadbringer Lampeds, Herald of the Host, Banshee of the Dread Choir, Thief of Blood, Sandstone Oracle, Soul Ring, as always is in these commander decks, Wayfarer's Bauble, Lightning Greaves, Orzhov Signet. So we're moving on to our artifacts now. That's going to be generating white black for us at a cost of 1 colourless. So it's like filtering a mana to produce white-black mana. Thought vessel. This means that we have no maximum hand size, and will also tap to produce colourless. Crystal chimes. Orzhov cluestone. So this is a cluestone, a non-colour cluestone. Phyrexian reclamation. So we're now moving on to our enchantments. Seal of cleansing. Grave peril. Vanishing light. Cage of hands. Vow of duty. Fallen ideal. Seal of doom. Vow of malice. Aura of silence. And here's our regular size Daxos. So that's at Mythic. We've got Karlov of the Ghost Council. So this is an alternative commander here we can use. Karlov of the Ghost Council, 1 and a black for a 2/2 legendary creature, Spirit Advisor. Whenever you gain life, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Karlov of the Ghost Council. White-black, remove 6 +1/+1 counters from Karlov of the Ghost Council, exile target creature. And as I mentioned earlier as well, Tessa, Envoy of Ghosts is another alternate commander here. 5 colourless white-black for a 4/4 legendary creature, Human Advisor. Vigilance, protection from creatures. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, destroy that creature. Put a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. And we have more creatures. So it looks like this is going to be maybe our rares, but we'll see. This is Bastion Protector. 2 and a white, 3/3 creature, human soldier. Commander creatures you control get Commander creatures you control get +2/+2 and have indestructible. So that's interacting with your commander. Grasp of Fate, 1 colourless 2 white enchantment. When Grasp of Fate enters the battlefield, for each opponent exile up to 1 target non-known permanent that player controls until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield. Shielded by Faith, 1 colourless 2 white enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has indestructible. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may attach shielded by Faith to that creature. Daxos' Torment, 3 and a black enchantment, has Constellation on it. Whenever Daxos' Torment or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, Daxos' Torment becomes a 5/5 demon creature with flying and haste in addition to the other types until end of turn. Righteous Confluence, 3 and 2 white sorcery, choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Put a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance onto the battlefield. Exile target enchantment, gain 5 life. Deadly Tempest, 4 and 2 black sorcery, destroy all creatures. Each player loses life equal to the number of creatures he or she controlled that were destroyed this way. Messer Enchantress, so that's a 1 colourless 2 white 0/2 creature, human druid. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you may draw a card. Night Howler's in here. White and 2 black enchantment creature, horrors, 0/0 with bestow. So for 2 and 2 black, if you cast this card for its bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. Night Howler and enchanted creature each get +X/+X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. Fate Unraveler, 3 and a black 3/4 enchantment creature, hag. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Fate Unraveler deals 1 damage to that player. Ajani's Chosen is in here, 2 and 2 white 3/3 creature, cat soldier. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a 2/2 white cat creature token onto the battlefield. If that enchantment is an aura, you may attach it to the token. Doomwake Giant, 4 and a black 4/6 with Constellation. Whenever Doomwake Giant or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Celestial Ancient, 3 and 2 white. 3/3 flying. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Celestial Archeon, 3 and 2 white, 4/4. Enchantment creature, bestow 4 white. Flying, first strike, enchantment creature gets +4/+4 and has flying and first strike. Treasury Thrall, 4 white black for 4/4 with extort on it. So just to remind you, whenever you cast a spell, you may pay white or black. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. Whenever Treasury Throw attacks, you may return target artifact, creature or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Silent Sentinel, 5 and 2 white for 4/6. Creature Archeon, flying. Whenever Silent Sentinel attacks, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Underworld Connection is in here. This is a 4 and 2 black for an enchantment aura. Enchant land. Enchanted land has tap, pay 1 life, draw a card. Karmic Justice, another enchantment, 2 and a white. Whenever a spell or ability an opponent controls destroys a non-creature permanent you control, you may destroy target permanent that opponent controls. Phyrexian Arena's in here, 2 and 2 black enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Marshal's Anthem. So this is 2 and 2 white. It's got multi-kicker of 1 and a white. So you can actually pay an additional 1 and a white any number of times. Creatures you control get +1/+1, so it's going to pump all the creatures that you control across the board. When Marshal's Anthem enters the battlefield, return up to X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the number of times Marshal's Anthem was kicked. So that's one of the graveyard interactions here. It looks like the deck generally is very heavy on the artifact side, and we're going to see maybe little bits of graveyard recursion here and there, but definitely this is the whole deck is just all real sort of enchantment heavy, and in your enchantment synergy going on. Dictate of Heliod, 3 and 2 white enchantment with flash. Creatures you control get +2/+2, so we've got some creature pumping going on. Sigil of the Empty Throne, 3 and 2 white enchantment. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Black Market's in here, 3 and 2 black enchantment. Whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on Black Market. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add black to your mana pool for each charge counter on Black Market. Wow, there's a lot of rares in here. Necromancer's Covenant, 3 white and 2 black enchantment. When Necromancer's Covenant enters the battlefield, exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard. Then put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield for each card exiled this way. Zombies you control have lifelink. Ancient Cravings, a sorcery, 3 and a black. You draw 3 cards and you lose 3 life. Guild, 3 and a black sorcery. Exile target creature, put a colourless artifact token named gold, so this is where the gold tokens come from, onto the battlefield. It has sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Open the vaults. This is going to return all artifact and enchantment cards from all graveyards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So that's all graveyards. And it's 4 and 2 whites to cast. Death Grasp is another sorcery, X white black. Death Grasp deals X damage to target creature or player. You gain X life. Dawn to Dusk, 2 and 2 white. So we're back to an uncommon here. So there was quite a lot of rares there. So now we move on to our mana. So you can see here, obviously we're just going to basically see plains and swamps in this deck. It's a white-black deck, and then we should have a number of other sort of, whatever you want to call it, utility lands or lands that will fix for both colours. We'll see. So I expect to see, there's a certain amount of usual suspects you'll see in Commander products. So it's got Vivid Marsh in here. So what Vivid Marsh does is it enters the battlefield tapped with 2 charge counters on it. So there's a whole cycle of these lands with huge charge counters. You can tap it and add black to your mana pool, but what you can do is you can also tap it, remove a charge counter from Vivid Marsh, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. There's also Vivid Meadow, so you've got the same card but for white, and behaves in exactly the same way with those charge counters. You've got Barren Moor in here, which is a black cycling land, so it will generate black mana. It does enter the battlefield tapped, but you can cycle it for black. So if you don't need land, you don't need this land, you can actually cycle it and draw another card instead. Command Towers in here, which we've seen before, so you add to your mana pool 1 mana of any colour in your commander's colour identity. Evolving Wilds in here is a nice fetch land. That'll hunt down your basic lands for you. You've got Ghost Quarter as well in here, so this will destroy a target land. It'll also just add, colourless mana, but you can use it. You sack it, basically it destroys a target land, because it can be any target land. It could be yours, it can be an opponent's, and then its control of that land basically searches their library for a basic land card and puts it into the battlefield. New Benalia, so that's in white, and that is a scry land that comes into play tapped. Scry for 1. Orzhov Basilica, so wouldn't be unusual to see these Ravnica era lands in here. So this one will add white-black to your mana pool. But with this, what happens is it enters the battlefield tapped, and also when it enters the battlefield, you have to bounce a land back to your hand, basically. Orzhov Guild Gates are also in here. So these come into tapped, and then they will. There's no extra caveat on that. It just comes in tapped, and it will tap for white or black. Rogue's Passage. Great way of basically creating an unblockable creature for a turn. So it'll tap for colourless mana, but also for 4 colourless, you can tap it and a target creature can't be blocked for that turn. Scoured Barrens, enter the battlefield tapped, also will give you 1 life gain, but also will tap for white and black mana. Secluded Steep, this is another cycling land in white. Tainted Field, taps for colourless mana, but also you can add white or black to your mana pool. You can only activate the ability if you control a swamp. Temple of the False God adds 2 colours to your mana pool, activates only if you control 5 or more lands, and then also we've got a Terramorphic Expanse in here, so it's another fetch land for any basic land that might be in your deck. Okay, so a pretty interesting deck we have there. That was the Daxos, the returned Commander product, Commander deck. So this is obviously enchantment themed, and it has this new experience counter shenanigans going on. In this case, with spirit enchantment creature tokens. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.